As the Kwa-Zulu Natal feeding scheme debacle continues, concerns are mounting as pupils go hungry. Millions of children rely on the scheme, and for some, this is the only meal they get to have per day. Yesterday, here on the show, we spoke to the National Teachers Union, who told us learning in some schools has been affected because learners have to go home early. Let's get a sense now of how things are looking on the ground. Our reporter, Nonhlakanipho Magwaza, joins us live now. Nonhlakanipho, thank you so much for your time. You spoke to some of those affected by this. Give us a sense of how things are looking on the ground.
Good afternoon, Bongi Oasis. We just came back from the KZN district where we visited affected families in that area. Know that area is a rural area and most of the people there are unemployed, and they rely mostly on the government grants. And this one family that we spoke to, they live in a dilapidated mud house where only one person, the mother, is relying on the 3 grants for the little ones. So today when we got there, the child was sent back to school because there was no food. When we visited the schools, they showed us their pantry, and in one school there was just mealie meal and rice, but with no with nothing else to go with that mealie meal. And in another school there was just like a couple of tin stuffs, and they said that it was not enough for the 500 or 700 learners that are attending that school. And some can't even carry their lunches to school because their families cannot afford to send them to school with lunches. And the principal in one of the schools said that yesterday they had to just give the learners an apple each just to tide them over until they go home, and hopefully at home they will get a meal. And the Zulu family, when we spoke to the mother, she said that she is unemployed and her 2 children have just graduated. One did agriculture, the other one did HR courses, and they are unemployed. They can't get any internship, and she can only rely on the grants that she gets from her 3 younger children at home. So the one child, when we spoke to him, he said that he finds it difficult to concentrate at school because he's hungry and he doesn't even know if he goes home if he'll find anything to eat at home.
Now, Nonhlakanipho, let's talk about, of course, all of this centers around this investigation that is currently underway now in order to understand what happened here and what becomes the way forward for this particular, contract. What do we know on the latest when it comes to that investigation?
So far, they're still investigating. They have not given us a timeline on when the investigations will be completed here in the province. As you know, that yesterday the Minister of National Department of Basic Education said that she wants all the paperwork related to the tender. So we don't know exactly what the time frame is for all the investigations. We also know that we also received a statement from the SIU saying that they received complaints regarding this tender, and they are intending to investigate what exactly happened and were the proper procedures followed when awarding this tender. When last week we spoke to a couple of service providers who previously supplied schools with food, and they said that they been going to the designated spots where they're supposed to get the food, but in some cases the food is not there, or in some cases the food will not be enough for all of them. So they decided to boycott and not take the food to schools because the teachers and the learners, they will fight them when they go to school, when they take this food to school, and it's not enough. It's not even enough for one day. The food that we saw today, it's supposed to be for 2 weeks. But when we were speaking to the people who were cooking the food, they said that even today, when they were cooking I believe it was maize meal and beans, she said that even today there were not enough supplies to cook. They had to dig into them from their own pockets to go to the stores and buy some other things that will help cook the food. And she also said that they had to give the children 1 spoon of food to tide them over for today.
And that's definitely the crisis, really, that is unfolding in Kwa-Zulu Natal right now, especially because some of those children, this is the only meal that they get to have per day. And, it really begs the question, to what end and really when will this end? But let's leave it there with you. Nonhlakanipho, thank you so much for that update. That was our reporter, Nonhlakanipho Magwaza.